Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. It begins with an intergalactic warlord named Riddick sitting on the throne of the Necromonger fleet. After winning the army in a brutal game of keep what you kill with their previous Lord Marshal, Riddick's hated among his new commanders for not taking their sacred oath and has beautiful assassins sent to his bedchambers to kill him. Every time they've failed to kill the Furion, and Riddick has become tired of always being on edge. Just like all the other Necromongers, Commander Falco wants to lead the army to an alternate dimension called the Underverse, so he uses Riddick's desire to return to his homeworld of Furia to achieve it. With all of the associated navigational charts being destroyed, Falco's one of the only people who remembers their great battle on Riddick's planet but wants to trade its location for leadership. Blinded by his desire to leave this hellhole of a fleet, Riddick accompanies Captain Crone to what he thinks is the remains of Furia. When it gets revealed to be a betrayal, Riddick quickly kills the Necromonger soldiers and avoids the captain's gunfire to take cover on the edge of a cliff. But Crone shoots out the plateau from beneath Riddick, sending him falling to what he thinks is the Furion's death. Shortly after, Riddick wakes up on the desolate planet, strangles an alien vulture and crawls over to some rocks. He uses it to break his leg back into place when a pack of alien jackal dingoes come investigate the area as Riddick holds his breath and hides in a contaminated pond. As the locals sniff around, a bunch of eels almost give Riddick away, but the pack of dogs eventually move on, allowing him to emerge. One remains behind and lashes out at Riddick as the Furion defends himself with a femur, until he realizes that the dog-like creature just wants to play and throws a piece of his armor to distract it. He enters a canyon to drink from a muddy freshwater runoff when the jackals return, so Riddick hides, only for a mud demon to emerge and kill one of the dogs, scaring the others away. When it attacks Riddick, he blocks its mouth with another handy floor bone and evades, becoming the creature's next meal. With the whole planet out to kill him, Riddick pushes over a large obelisk, turning it into a temporary tomb that he seals himself inside to recover. Once his legs healed, Riddick goes full native, using the eels for food and raising an abandoned jackal to help him hunt. He keeps it contained inside a cage made from the ribs of its dead mother while using an effigy of her head to ward off the other scavengers. Needing to kill the mud demon to reach a grass paddock on the other side, Riddick catches and injects the venom from a baby muddy into himself over a few days to build up an immunity. When he's ready to take on the creature, Riddick baits it into biting his leg so that he can behead it with his homemade retractable bone sword. While the jackal barks at a batch of muddies in another pond, a second large demon emerges from behind Riddick and another battle begins. In one swift motion, Riddick scoops up the pup and slides under the demon, slicing its belly open while he escapes out the other side. For the next 6 months, Riddick wanders the grassland with his now fully grown jackal dingo living for himself. One day he finds a golf ball, then an abandoned animal trap, and then comes across a mercenary outpost in the middle of nowhere. It's currently unoccupied, so Riddick and Jack eat all of the rations, but at nighttime rain clouds arrive, bringing with it an army of mud demons, so they decide it's time to leave. Riddick reports himself so that the nearest mercs to the planet come for the bounty on his head and he can steal their ship. The captain of the first crew to arrives, the cocky Santana, who searches the outpost with his lieutenant Diaz. They find a message written in blood telling them to leave their ship and go, but Santana has the voice of morality and his crew Luna release their current prisoner to free up room for the more valuable Riddick. Santana then shoots the lady in the back and she dies in front of Riddick, who's just waiting for his chance to steal their ship. As they set up a scanner called the Cyclops to survey the planet, a second crew arrives, much more orderly under the command of Boss Johns. The insecure Santana cites first come first served on Riddick's bounty, so Boss Johns agrees to stand down, but it's a co-op outpost, so they're allowed to set up shop as well. Both parties agree to lock their ship's power nodes inside a trapped locker to prevent Riddick from getting to them, and at night Santana's crew begins searching for Riddick while Johns relax until they're needed. The local uses his jackal to play with one of the Cyclops sensors while he messes with the one on the other side, causing it to start acting erratic and making Santana shut it down. When the merc goes with one of his crew to change out the sensors, John's lieutenant Dahl informs him that the traps are missing from the armory. They warn Santana over the radio, but his men still take Riddick too lightly, and the one with him walks straight into a pair of giant oversized bear traps. 2 more mercs begin searching the area when Vargas closes his eyes in a moment of fear, but when he opens them, his teammates being dragged away and Vargas is too late to save him. Another dies off screen, and the next day Santana basically begs Johns to combine forces as he's down by 3. After the lieutenant beats the desperate captain around whenever he's rude or interrupts her boss, Johns takes complete control of the mission from here on out. He spots the jackal from last night that Diaz failed to hit with his rifle, and as Dahl hit it with a tracker to lead them to Riddick's hideout. Johns takes 2 of the expendable mercs on jet bikes across the desert to a cave that gives off readings for a human inside. Moss gets trigger happy and fires the moment he sees someone, but it's just the corpse of the dead merc that Riddick dragged away. Lockspur warns Johns that Riddick might be back at base, but he's unable to get through to Dahl from inside the cave. Meanwhile, Riddick's like a ghost moving around the outpost, not being noticed by any crew, as he steals Dahl's mirror while she showers and uses it to spy on the node. Realizing they've got them locked up tight, Riddick plans to kill Santana for the key to the cabinet, but Dahl walks in. She confronts Santana, who she thinks stole her mirror, but without her crew around, he punches her to the floor and attacks her. By the time Boss Johns arrives at base, he finds Dahl's won the fight and beat the crap out of the other captain. But no one noticed Riddick write the words "fair trade" on the node cabinet with blood. They all become deathly paranoid that Riddick replaced the nodes with a bomb so no one can bring themselves to open it and see. Eventually Santana's forced to do it, or else they're all stuck on the planet, but they find the nodes still there and Riddick was just bluffing. He did it so that it would make them leave the bomb off for further paranoia, and Moss is tasked with guarding the nodes instead. Riddick slips inside through a skylight undetected and steals both crews' nodes without even harming the terrified mercenary. He buries them deep in the desert while the mercs try to figure out how to get off the planet without any communications. Now with them hidden, Riddick's able to confront the crews out in the open without the threat of being killed. The leaders and Diaz step forward and they've an unarmed conversation where Riddick warns them about the storm approaching and their need to get off the planet before it hits. He offers them a trade of one node for one ship, but Boss Johns isn't there for the bounty on his head and wants questions answered about his son's death. Riddick doesn't give him anything, but when he turns to leave, Santana pulls a pistol, getting him attacked by the tame jackal. It bites into him, but Santana manages to shoot Riddick's pet dead while it takes 3 shots with tranquilizing darts fired by Dahl just to bring Riddick down. Johns prevents the other captain killing him, then knocks out Riddick to chain him up at the shelter. He continues to question him about his son's death, but the prisoner doesn't say much, just that he died on a planet with aliens. Riddick creates a somewhat good rapport when flirting with Dahl, as well as the one already created with Moss by letting him live. It has them speaking up against their boss when he begins torturing Riddick, but all the Furion cares about is warning them to get off the planet. Frustrating Johns enough to let Santana kill him when realizing he isn't going to speak. Planning to cut his head off and put it in a box like he's been claiming he's going to do the whole movie, Dahl's about to step in when it suddenly begins raining and the Cyclops picks up the mud demons approaching. The crews lock themselves inside, but Lockspur's stabbed through the wall by a demon's tail and beat it against the window until he dies. The mercs' bullets do nothing to the sheer number of them, and Moss gets snatched through the skylight and killed by another. Riddick tells them to release him as he's the only chance they have of retrieving the nodes, and calls Boss John spineless like his mercenary son. He's much smarter though and attempts to free the captive, but Santana stops him and his crew take control of the compound. Boss John secretly takes the pin out of Riddick's shackles, so when Santana tries behead him, Riddick knocks Santana back and kicks the machete through his head, capturing the top half in a box. Impressing even Diaz, Riddick's instantly released and the mercs begin shooting their way through the muddy storm to John's ship. Thinking nothing of it, Diaz shoots a baby mud demon at the feet of Vargas and the poisonous fumes instantly kill him. Johns, Diaz and Riddick set out on jet hogs through the storm while Dahl and Luna remain on board the ship waiting for them. They use the bikes to roast demons along the way and leap canyons filled with thousands of them to where Riddick hid the node. At one point Johns gets sideswiped off his bike by Diaz and surrounded by approaching noises in the darkness. With his bike destroyed, Riddick returns and doubles Johns to their destination, where Riddick begins digging and finally tells Johns about his son. He says that Johns Jr. tried to kill a kid before aliens got him first, which Boss Johns refuses to believe as he remembers his son as a good person, but Riddick confirms that he was using drugs and become a coward towards the end. Just then Diaz comes from being on watch behind them and attempts to kill both Johns and Riddick with brute strength. He underestimates Riddick's own, who knocks him back to retrieve his hidden bone machete and put it halfway through the big guy's chest. One of the hogs gets destroyed by Diaz's stray gunfire and they realize he also disabled the other while on watch. They fight their way back to the ship on foot, killing mud demons along the way, until Riddick's eventually stung by one of them and its stinger breaks off in his chest. He collapses to the ground and it looks like Boss Johns is going to help him, but with the venom normally being lethal, he just takes the node off his back, assuming Riddick's going to die. Having built up an immunity, Riddick manages to recover and uses burning coals to cauterize the wound once the tooth's removed. With nowhere else to go, he fights his way to the top of a cliff as the surrounding mud demons begin overwhelming him. Meanwhile, Boss Johns makes it back to his ship with the nodes, but unlike his coward son, he returns for Riddick to repay him for saving his life. They shoot any nearby muddies and Dahl's sent down on a winch to straddle Riddick up to the safety of the mercs ship. They give him Santana's to take since no one's using it, and Boss Johns expects Riddick to pay for the lives of the men he lost, but both agree that they'll settle it at another date. Riddick returns to the Necromonger fleet where he confronts his usurper Crone at knife point, but learns that Vaco had nothing to do with his betrayal and was loyal to the end. He kills Crone, then asks a servant why Vaco's no longer with the fleet and if he's even dead or alive. She replies that he's both, as the commander passed through the threshold into the underverse where he would have transcended into something else. And the movie ends.